friends, this is Emily with the Mom Edit, and today I'm going to talk to you about 12 things that have been invaluable to me this postpartum period. So if you are not familiar, we have two kiddos. One is 7, Lana, and we just had Eleanor. She's about 2 months old. The majority of these items I used with both Lana and Eleanor, so I know that from my experience with Lana, they're very tried and true. I'm not talking about really big ticket items today, like particular strollers or cribs, things like that. These are just the everyday kind of smaller purchase essentials that have made it simpler to get through life with a newborn. First up, everyone has their own caffeine routine when they have a baby. Mine is matcha. I've always had like a matcha ritual. I drink matcha daily. I had it when I was pregnant. I have it even though I'm breastfeeding. It doesn't seem to impact anything. It's a nice lower caffeine alternative to coffee. The caffeine in particular isn't like an antsy, jumpy kind of buzz. It's just like a subtle alertness, let's say. I do 1 to 2 matcha lattes a day, and this is the specific matcha that I buy. It's Encha. I've been drinking it for years. You can get it on Amazon. This matcha in particular is the perfect gateway matcha if you think you don't like matcha. It's grassy, it's a little bit nutty, doesn't taste muddy or bitter, and it is the most verdant green color, the best. Okay, the second item on the list is highly related to the matcha. It is this milk frother. It's how I make my matcha latte every day. It's about 1/3 to half the price maybe of what the Nespresso Arancino costs. I used that model for about 11 years and then one day it just stopped working. So that's great if you have one at home. If you don't and you're looking for a cost-effective milk frother, this one is awesome. It looks nice enough to sit out on your counter. It gets the job done. There's a couple features on it that are a little bit chintzier than on the Arancino, like the plastic just feels a little different. But in terms of frothing the milk, I actually think that it is a silkier, higher volume froth than I got even with my Arancino, so I am a big fan. To make my daily matcha, because everyone always asks, I make it directly in the frother. You just use the whisk attachment that the frother comes with, and you add your milk of choice. I use Oatly up to the frothing line, and about a teaspoon of the matcha. I do a dribble of maple syrup as well. You press this little button, walk away, and a few minutes later you have a super silky, creamy, delicious matcha latte without any tedious whisking. Okay, next up, the item that has gotten a tremendous amount of use, particularly since we now have 2 kids, is this ring sling. This one is from Sakura Bloom. I would put it on and demonstrate it for you, but the little one's napping and she hasn't been doing a lot of that lately, so I'm gonna let her do her thing. This is great. It's what I wear Eleanor in when we go to take Lana to school, to pick Lana up from school. Basically, anytime we're not going somewhere in a car, if we're going somewhere on foot, this is what she's in. It's by far the handiest baby wearing type of contraption for me. It's the simplest. It just goes on, pop them in, cinch it up. There's no like buckling behind your back, and it can hold anything from a newborn up to I think like a 36-pound toddler, which honestly would have held Lana up till she was like 5. It's a favorite and it wears extremely well. This is the sling that I used with Lana. It's been used for 2 other babies since then that I loaned out to a friend and then just got it back. So this is the 4th baby that is using it, and it's just softer and softer with every use. If you've been reading for a while, you know that I'm a big fan of Biossance. I would consider the BiossanceSqualane and Vitamin C Rose Oil to be one of the essentials in my skincare routine, and at the moment it's one of the only things that I'm not willing to sacrifice in the name of time. So I'm definitely not always doing a moisturizer and a sunscreen and an eye cream and a face oil, but at a minimum, just so I feel like myself and get a little bit self-care in there at the beginning and end of the day, I use the rose oil morning and night. It's not greasy, it's relatively fast absorbing, leaves you feeling dewy and glowy, and it makes the texture of my skin so good. It's really lightly, naturally fragrant. It's just the rose oil in there, so it's not like overly cloying or perfumey or anything that's going to interfere with baby's delicate senses. Just nourishing and makes my skin feel great. Okay, the next couple things are related to sleep or nap time. The first is the Dohm sound machine or white noise machine. I love that this white noise machine creates a really authentic, natural, physical noise. There's actually a fan that whirs inside, so it's not a digital white noise machine. I've tried a couple of other ones. I've tried the apps, the white noise app, or the little one that looks like a lamb that can make like 10 different sounds. I love that this one just has one analog sound, but you can change the tone and the volume of it by adjusting these vents that are on the top and the sides, and then the volume as well. It's just like a natural, soothing, whooshing sound. It's not coming out of a speaker, which I like. There's nothing electronic about it. Definitely our favorite sound machine. We have one in Lana's room, one in our room, and one in the baby's room. We even have one in the guest room. Dohm fans for life. Okay, I said I wasn't going to talk about any large purchases. This one's on the larger side, but we were fortunate enough to borrow it from a friend, and that is the Dock-A-Tot. When Lana was born, the Dock-A-Tot was not as popular as it is now. I started noticing friends that had babies in the following years after Lana were totally raving about the Dock-A-Tot. I didn't really get it. I do now. It's an easy, safe place to set baby down, and she's super comfortable, so she's happy laying there. If I'm making dinner, if I'm singing with her, reading to her, she even dozes off in it sometimes, or if I've just fed her and she dozes off, I can lay her in it next to me and she feels like comforted and cozy. And you can get a ton of different colors or covers for it. You can get them through Dock-A-Tot or you can get them through third-party sites. We got this really cozy corduroy-ish one that is super cute, but it also feels nice and warm against her skin. It's not like putting her on cold sheets when I set her down. And so if you can get your hands on a Dock-A-Tot, worth the hype. In tandem with the Dohm sound machine is this little light. We call it the egg light. I don't know what it's actually called online. And the newer model looks a little different. It's actually got a squattier, more stable base, and it comes with a cool charging plate. We have that one too, works great, but it's in our room right now where Eleanor is sleeping. So I'm gonna demonstrate with Lana's. They also come with these cute little eye stickers that Lana has applied to now almost every appliance in our house, including our stand mixer, whose name is Tia. This is great. It's perfect for diaper changes, for breastfeeding in the middle of the night. Lana uses it on the lowest setting for her night light. It's super simple to use. You just tap it twice to turn it on. You can hold the top to dim it or make it brighter. And you can even change the warmth from the super warm yellow light, which we actually prefer for sleeping, to kind of a cooler, bluer light. It's super inexpensive. It's actually one of the gifts that I give most commonly at baby showers because it's just a nice thing to have. We have one upstairs, we have one downstairs for if you need to move around and do things for the baby. The next few things are all related to breastfeeding. So if you are not breastfeeding, go ahead and skip to the end. But first, these little Silverette nursing cups. So not to be confused with a nipple shield. These little silver nursing cups are lifesavers for your nipples when you are breastfeeding, particularly at the start when they can be like raw or chapped when you're trying to kind of figure out the latch with baby. They look like this. I mean, you put them on and you look like something out of Austin Powers. They just sit on top of your nipple, protect it from rubbing on any fabrics or chafing in any way. I just tucked it inside my nursing bra. There's something about the silver itself that is healing. Your nipples are not only protected from being chafed or any abrasions, but they actually heal themselves. It's insane. They're kind of pricey. You can get knockoff ones. I think these are like $50-ish, maybe $60. But if someone told me that I could pay $60 to cure my nipple pain when I was breastfeeding Lana, I would have handed it over lickety split. So super stoked that my midwife recommended these this time, and they are so worth it. And you can just rinse them and use them again and again if they get dirty. They're even metal, so they would be easy to clean and sterilize and pass off to somebody else if you needed to hand them off. So well worth the investment. Also worth the investment are these wool nursing pads. I tried every nursing pad that there was when I had Lana. I have a heavy letdown. The boobs are really excited to feed the baby. So I would soak through like the little bamboo ones, little heart-shaped ones, the ones that are like organic cotton, seriously, all of them. They are all kind of like strange sizes. So you put them in your bra, you can kind of see them through. I know this looks ridiculously large. The lovely thing about such a large nursing pad is it actually covers your entire breast when it's in your bra. So you don't have like a little circle of a nursing pad that you can see. It actually seamlessly blends into the edges of your breast and your bra much better. These are wool, which means when they get moist, they naturally release lanolin. So you're conditioning your breast and your nipples at the same time that you are absorbing excess milk. They also never feel cold against your skin. So the wool stays nice and warm feeling, so you don't get like cold, funky feeling pads in your bra all day. And they're like antibacterial. They're great. They're super easy to take care of too. You let them dry in between uses. I had 2 pairs when I was nursing Lana, and I would just let one pair dry if it got really wet and switch with the other one. And then occasionally you wash them. They come with washing instructions. You use a wool soap and you wash them and they go right back to this like super plush, fluffy, nice, cozy nursing pad. Again, well worth the investment, and another thing that I gift moms in baby shower gift packages, things like that, because it's not something that you would think to buy yourself, but it is so handy. These are cream of the crop nursing pad. You heard it here. And I think this is a size small, believe it or not. They are meant to be oversized. I can talk at length about breastfeeding. I can totally go down the rabbit hole, but I'm gonna just do one more product related to nursing, and that is the Medela hand pump. I work from home, so I almost exclusively breastfeed Eleanor. She does get a bottle a day. If I was doing any heavier pumping, I might use a hospital grade electric pump, but for me, this more than meets my needs. It was also the only pump that I used when I nursed Lana. We did things the same way with her. She got a bottle a day, and then I also used the pump just for comfort or to pump through any like engorgement or heavy letdowns. And for that purpose, this works exactly as advertised. I couldn't ask for anything better. I will say that I started using the Haka this time. The Haka is the silicone like one-piece suction pump. It's super slick in terms of how it works, and it's extremely easy to clean. For me, the Haka is not as efficient as I would like it to be. Usually if I'm pumping for comfort or if I am pumping to get through a heavy letdown, both of those are kind of time sensitive. Like I'm trying to pump quickly so that Eleanor can get on the breast. This is much, much faster for me than the Haka. I also only have one lactating breast this round, but if I had two lactating breasts, I think I would use the Haka much, much more. So I could suction it onto the second breast while Eleanor feeds on one to catch the letdown from the second side and not let that milk go to waste and just have it leaked into a nursing pad or something. Okay, we're down to the last two. This will be no surprise. I'm sure you've heard lots of people talk about this. This is the nose Frida. It is an ingenious way to suction baby's nose. You literally put this end up to their nostril, this end goes in your mouth, and you use suction to suck their nose clear. It is so much more effective than those little squeeze bulbs. It's game changing. Eleanor actually had a cold when she was like 3 weeks old, and this made all the difference in her sleeping at night, us being able to actually clear her congestion so she could get to bed. Item number 12. This is the one that I said might be a little unorthodox, but it has made a huge difference for me. Maybe it's the placebo effect, maybe it's not. I had postpartum depression with Lana. I was extremely, extremely anxious when I was pregnant with Eleanor about having postpartum depression again. So the thing that I committed to doing right out of the gate when I found out I was pregnant was I was like, I'm going to encapsulate my placenta. And I did. So if you are on the fence about encapsulating your placenta, I can tell you I've taken one placenta pill since the day they arrived, and it's bizarre, guys. Think that you're eating one of your own organs. It's super strange. But my mood has been great since I've had Eleanor. I don't know that it's necessarily due to the placenta capsules or if I just wasn't dealt the same hormonal hand this time around. If I were to have another child, I would do it again. If you have the opportunity to encapsulate your placenta, I say go for it. Mine was done using the Chinese method. I had one of my midwives do it for me, but I think there are even online services where you can do it. So it's much more, I guess I wouldn't say mainstream than it used to be, but it's easier to come by. And if you are considering it, or if you have struggled with the baby blues or postpartum depression in the past, I would highly suggest giving it a shot. Eat your placenta.